January 14, 2013, and this is the Footie Pajamas Student News. Today we will be covering the top 6 news stories of 2012, and here is Kaylee with your number 6 story.
The number 6 news story of 2012 is the civil war in Syria. This war started on January 26, 2011 and is still going on today. The people of Syria are upset with their government because they feel their president has too much power and is acting like a dictator. The Assad family has ruled over Syria for 40 years, but the people feel it is time for a new family. The civil war has taken over 37 deaths, and in one incident, 49 children were shot in their homes. Many innocents are killed and taken for leverage against the other side. This is your number 6 news story. Back to Sierra.
Thank you, Kaylee. Now over to our number 5 story, the fiscal cliff. The government in Washington, D.C. has big issues on their hands. The fiscal cliff is when the government is in debt and we need to pull ourselves out of debt if we cannot find a way to find an agreement to help decrease our deficit. They are either going to reduce spending or raise taxes, and that was their toss-up in December. On January 1st, their final agreement was to raise taxes. They're going to raise taxes on individuals who make $40,000 a year or more, and families who make $45,000 a year or more. Right now, we are in debt about $7 trillion. And we need to fix that big time and fast before everything goes crazy. Our number 4 story is Malala. That took place in Pakistan. What happened was Malala got shot on October 9th because she's trying to stand up for girls' rights for education over in Pakistan. She was shot by a Taliban and was in the hospital for a very long time. She was put in the hospital for a very long time, and she had head injuries, but now she's on her way back to recovery. They made November 10th a National Malala Day. She has been doing very good and is still standing up for girls' rights in education. Now we're to heaven for our number 3 story.
Abnormally warm water, high sea levels, and abnormal weather conditions have all contributed to our number 3 story, the superstorm Hurricane Sandy. This superstorm was a record-breaking 900 miles wide, and when it hit the east coast of the United States, it hit hard. In New York, the water levels reached over 13.5 feet and caused over 6 million people to be out of power for weeks. Weeks, guys. Weeks. And over in New Jersey, they saw waves that reached 10 feet in height, and some were slightly higher. And parts of their seaside boardwalk are now gone completely. And over here in Michigan, which is over 800 miles from the shore, we even saw dark skies for days at a time, and we experienced winds from 40 to 50. And the storm left 85 people dead and left us with a debt of $15.8 billion, which is significantly larger than the $180 million that the U.S. had set aside for natural disasters like this, which really sucks, especially after the whole story of our fiscal cliff. So we are going to go back to Sierra.
Thank you, Heaven, for that wonderful story. What happened is it started right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and most people said that it went down and up. It didn't. What it did was it took from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and just grew and grew and grew. It got bigger and stronger, and it took from all the way up here all the way down the east coast. Now over to Kaylee for our number 2 story.
The number 2 news story of 2012 is the U.S. presidential election. Obama nominated for the Democrats and Romney the Republicans.
Obama!
Romney! The election was held on November 6, 2012. Obama was re-elected for his second term as president. The election had 3 debates total throughout the year, where the nominees debated over the important ideas for 2012. Obama ended up winning with 336 electoral votes, Romney with 206. This is your number 2 news story. Back to Sierra.
Haley for that news story. And about Romney. Thank you, Kaylee, for that story. And see what happened is Romney lost and Obama is now in for his second term, 4 years again. Thank you. And now over to our number 1 story.
Then I have the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. The Who is Adam Lanza, the shooter, and the staff: Don Hooksprung, principal; Mary Sherlock, psychologist; Victoria Soto, first grade teacher; Rachel Davino, Anne Marie Murphy, Lauren Russo. The children were Charlotte Bacon, 6; Daniel Burton, 7; Madeline Sue, 6; Josephine Gay, 7; Anna M. Marquez Green, 6; Dylan Hockley, 6; Catherine V. Hubbard, 6; Chase Kowalski, 7; Jesse Lewis, 6; James Matoli, 6; Grace McDonald, 6; Emily Parker, 6; Jack Pinto, 6; Noah Posner, 6; Caroline D. Ravidi, P. Ravidi, 6; Avel Richmond, 6; Benjamin Wheeler, 6; Allison N. Wyatt, 6; and Olivia Engel, 6. What is Adam Lanza armed himself with hundreds of bullets on December 14th before he entered the Newtown school and shot 20 first graders and 6 adults, including himself. When was December 14th, 2012? Where's Sandy Hook Elementary, Newtown, Connecticut? Why he was involved in an altercation at the school which involved himself and 4 other staff members. Of the 4, 3 were murdered in the December shooting spree. The first fact is when he armed himself outside the building, he put in earplugs. 2 is 2 guns were received at the scene. 1, a semi-automatic .223 caliber rifle. 3, he killed his mother, a teacher at the school, earlier in the morning at her home. 4, there were earlier reports of a possible second gunman on the loose, but that turned out to be untrue. 5, Lanza left a shotgun capable of firing 20 rounds in the trunk of the car. All of the guns were registered to his mother, where Nancy Lanza, and appear to have been bought legally between 2010 and 2012.
Our Before We Go segment is a perfect example of something that we have all either witnessed or experienced ourselves. Getting enough sleep is the key to not being deep rest.
Just be sure not to do it in Becca's class. Failing would be a class catastrophe.
We hope our puns didn't make you snooze because we thought they were a knockout.
This is the Footie Pajama News. Bye! See what happened is
Blooper time!
Blooper time! Blooper time!
Abnormally warm water, high sea levels, unusual weather patterns, and rapidly disappearing Arctic sea ice have all contributed to our top number 3 story, which was the superstorm hurricane.
Thank you, Kaylee. Now for our number 5 story of 2012, the fiscal cliff. The government in Washington, D.C. has a big issue, and they were trying to fix it. Laugh now.
The number 2 news story of 2012 is the presidential election. Obama versus Romney. It was held on November 6, 2012. Obama was re-elected for his second term as president. The election took a lot of work and a lot of money. Both presidents
I was gonna say pause.